So what concoction do we have here?
How do we mix it? How do we mix it?
You mix it with the rosemary.
It smells amazing. Very like citrusy with the little rosemary.
Make sure you have the rosemary like next to your nose when you
Oh
drink
yeah, I know. I just did it, and
What is it?
This is a drink that we had in LA when we were traveling to LA this past summer. And it was rush hour.
Kara's
What?
face.
I don't taste anything.
It does taste like water.
It
That's
tastes
'cause it
tastes like
melted.
gin. A lot of gin.
There's vodka in this,
Yeah, vodka.
which is Spanish for gin.
Today it is.
Is there any fruity stuff in here, like juice or
There's a little bit of simple
Salsa.
syrup.
gin?
It's vodka. I could put more vodka in there if you want.
No.
No.
She wants more flavor.
You know what
Yeah.
it needs? That orange probably needs to be squeezed.
This was a drink that we had when we were traveling in LA. The hotel where we stayed at, they had a happy hour every day. During this happy hour, the hotel would allow you to have as many of these as you wanted. So I wasn't. The
That
line was
sounds
long,
like a
so I
good
was like,
deal.
I'll take 2. Huh?
Yeah, sounds like a good deal.
Excellent.
Yeah,
deal.
but they had these ice that was like,
really big.
yeah, like
So the liquid
Like-
is actually.
like-
it was not cylinder, it was like
narrow?
a rectangle, but like long,
Oh.
yeah, long, and
That's
it almost
cool.
fit the whole glass.
Oh, there you go.
So
And then-
barely any
yeah,
alcohol.
Barely any
in it.
alcohol.
That's why you can drink as many.
So
as
we try to get
possible.
our money's worth. So we got as many drinks as we could. I'm pretty sure that we left that hotel with some shampoo and conditioner and lotion as well.
Some paper towels. Not paper towels.
Everything that was removable. Yep.
towels.
It's at
So all the soap, all the towels, all the
Yeah.
slippers, robes, everything. Anything that's not
I only left the bed in there.
anything that's not nailed down is coming home with us.
Just the mattress stay behind.
The mattress and the TV.
If the mattress folds, you can fold it enough to put it in your suitcase.
Have you taken toilet paper before?
Yeah.
Those rolls, oh no, they're regular size.
There's
rolls.
regular
New
toilet.
ones. New ones. If it's
Yeah,
not, I take it.
I might start doing that.
You're gonna start doing that?
Why not? Like
I might
brand
as well.
new roll. I'm like, why not?
We always have an issue where they don't give us enough toilet paper.
Yeah.
We always have to call.
I always,
It's
yeah,
so
me too. I
annoying.
always call the front desk.
It's like, I need 3
we
new
like
rolls.
2 new rolls now.
My stomach hurts.
Yeah. And don't come in to do we don't need room service. So don't worry about that. You guys can do it when we leave.
Just
right?
leave it by the door.
Yeah. So anyway,
We're back.
so yeah, we're back.
We're back in
Back
the
in the
shit.
shed.
We're back in the she shed.
person.
I kind of like these. I kind of like doing these in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way
Virtual is
better.
like annoying with tech issues.
I mean, we had
and, like,
some tech issues. Well, actually, no, we didn't have any tech issues today.
I still don't like it.
No, what for me it's the lagging a little bit, which kind of throws off a little bit of the timing of when we interfere with each other.
yeah, yeah.
In person, we can actually see everyone's lips moving. We could just jump in
Yeah.
real quick.
I much prefer.
Yeah, in person. Yep.
So future guests, we prefer in person podcast
Only in
recordings.
person.
Unless you have to travel more than 2 hours.
You guys shoot this weekend?
We did. We had 2 weddings this
2
weekend.
new venues we've never been to
Yeah,
before, so
it
that
was-
was fun.
It was,
Ooh, which
it was
ones?
an
The
awesome time.
Garrison.
Okay.
And
Is that the one up in Hudson Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Skyview
Skyview.
Golf Club.
That's in Sparta, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Both really nice. Really nice places. It's always good. I know a lot of, we were talking about this before. A lot of clients are always saying that they want to hire somebody who's shot at their venue before.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing more refreshing than being there for the
You
first
set up
time.
For the first time.
And instead of like, when you shoot at the same venue all the time, you kind of get into this rhythm where you're just repeating a lot of stuff. When you've never shot there, I feel like that's when you create some cool stuff because you've never been there and your eyes are fresh,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yep.
It's like when you go to Central Park so many times, or Dumbo, or
Yeah.
Meatpacking, or even Liberty State Park. I mean, you've been to those places like a million times.
Get
Yeah,
so
yeah,
bored.
yeah.
Bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting for them because it's the first time for them. But
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to keep telling myself that, you
Yeah.
know, like, all right, you know, they pretty much want what they saw.
Mm-hmm.
So you have
Yeah.
to do that. And then if there's any extra time, then you shoot for yourself.
Yeah.
Try to create
It's so
something
hard.
different.
Where were you guys at this weekend?
I was at Mercer Lake.
Mercer
Boathouse.
Lake?
Mm-hmm.
Princeton,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Okay.
Yep,
I've
right
never
by
shot there either.
Princeton.
Never
Yep.
shot
You had
there.
a double this weekend.
Yeah, I second shot for MJ on Friday at the Mercer Lake, I purposely did it because MJ had like she's been there a few times, but she was struggling with light at that venue because it's like right along the water, and portrait time comes, it's like
It
high
reflects
noon,
it.
and like,
Yeah.
so so I wanted to go see at this place, but with my own eyes and see like is that really the best place to shoot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Undercover boss.
yeah, and then
What did you think? What did you think?
so I
It was a
concluded
tough spot.
it is difficult because it's like
Yeah.
right along the water. It's like a pier, and where they have their ceremony, they're facing like power lines. Number one, there's
Okay.
like power lines in the background,
Okay.
and where their ceremony is at the end, it's like a gazebo, right? So of course they want
gazebo.
ceremony.
How beautiful.
Yeah, ceremony there. Officials like inside the gazebo. People are, and there's like this flagpole going on the left and light pole going on the right. So there's
Yeah.
this
So
metal
there's
poles
a lot
on the
of
side.
distractions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot, and then it's side lit because sun.
Yeah.
So one's in one's
shade.
completely in the shade. One's
Yeah.
like blown out. That we can't control.
That's
so
one of
it
the
is what it
things
is.
where you just have to let
It's
it
like
rock.
it was like a shit
and try
show
to balance
ceremony. Yeah.
balance so that when you edit it, you can at least bring up some shadows
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
destroy
yeah.
the highlights.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish that venues, when they design their venues and do like, because like you're starting with an open slate, right? So
Yeah.
that means you can actually have your gardens and all that stuff set up a certain way. So that way, throughout the year,
Well, and
you
then-
have a
but
prime.
this venue, like I guess the negative side of it, it's like a actual open public park. Even where the
So you
actual
have people
venue
walking
sits.
around and
So
stuff.
there's like kids,
Yeah.
bike. You can't technically.
So I guess
stop
sort of like
them.
Liberty House, right? It's like it's a public
Right.
park over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actual Liberty Party ground, like Liberty House ground, where the restaurants and
That's public
tables
too.
are.
Yes.
Well, technically they could walk through it, but you can't just come in and.
Right.
But here, this is like actual. So people literally like just because underneath the venue building, I think it used to be like a park building, and then they made it into a venue. So under like where I don't know, like shaded area, it's like a public bathrooms there. So where the cocktails happening, like people,
like random
people.
people.
I
are
love
there.
shooting at bathrooms. You kidding me? Best life.
That's kind of
People are
wacky.
there. Yeah, even like portraits, ceremony. There's like people, just like standing
All
there
over the
watching
place.
it. So like they will be in the background. But yeah, it is a tough location, but
That's where experience comes in.
just
you
make
know?
it work. So like we went and we were gonna do group photos. So we go out to the back and I was looking around and everywhere is trees spotted super harsh light
Yeah.
or it's like spotted shadows, right? Shades and shadows and highlights. So and
Oh,
I
God.
turned to the left. There's like patch of grass with hedges and it's
Shaded.
yeah, shaded
Yeah.
and sun's coming from backlit, so it's like really nice rim light.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's a good
yeah,
spot for
at least for the
like the
group
safe
photo
stuff.
and
Yeah,
that.
Safe stuff,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I try to do, and
Yeah.
part of that is upsetting the client sometimes because they don't, they want this grand view.
Right. They want the city
Right,
skyline, or
right.
they
And-
want
The
the
lake
fountain.
And I
The
tell them,
lake
like,
that's gonna be super blown out.
Yeah, and you have to tell them like,
Yeah.
hey, this
Yeah.
you're gonna be squinting, you're gonna have raccoon
Right,
eyes,
right, yeah.
And then, do you want raccoon eyes?
Yeah.
No,
if
nobody
you're
wants
okay
raccoon
with
eyes.
it, then yeah.
Yeah,
So sometimes I'll tell them, hey, listen, I'll do this one, but I just for my sake, I need to
Yeah,
do it the
yeah.
other
I do
direction.
that too
Yep.
sometimes.
Because at Liberty House, a lot of people don't know, the sun sets on the Jersey side. So if
Yep.
you want to shoot into the city, that means the sun's going to be in your eye if I'm shooting into the
yeah,
city.
yeah,
Yep.
And I bring this up every time I have a consult. Hey, listen, I know that you guys picked this place because this is the backdrop that you guys wanted for your wedding. But just so you know, like for the formal pictures, if there aren't any clouds in the sky and it's just like just sun is blazing,
So I actually had a couple I shot 2 weeks ago. She was actually totally fine squinting.
yeah. So hey,
hey, whatever you want. I
Yeah.
told you.
I was like, it's gonna be bright. She's like, I'm totally. So she all wanted city backdrop. I'm like, it's fine.
I've had that happen too
Yeah.
at the Liberty House as well,
Mm-hmm.
and it is what it is.
You want that? That's what you're
I-
gonna get.
I
I'm not
complain.
photoshopping anything.
I complained to Jen after each shot. And she's like, "You're loud. They're gonna hear you." And I'm just like, "It's just terrible."
Yeah.
Like, but
They want what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the type of business where you get to customize something and then they just make it for you, even though it's going to be complete shit? Like restaurants?
Any
yeah, there's a lot of.
customizable
Like,
place.
you want to put that in your sandwich?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
you go to
But if you want it, it's yours. I'll
You
make
go
it
to
for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want that, but I'm not gonna complain. I'm here to serve you, and and then that's that. You know, what did I do this weekend? I shot a double as well. One was at the
Maritime
Maritime.
Park.
I'm there every weekend. I'm there this coming weekend as well. And then the other one was at West Hills.
Yep.
Where's that?
I'm preferred at both places.
I've never been there, West Hills.
It's in Middletown. It's an hour and a half away.
Middletown, New York?
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably close to where we were.
Yeah, Perona's an hour and
Yeah, you guys went to the B&H Expo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
a couple weeks ago.
It was not what I expected in a good way.
Mhm.
It was not your typical, like, what PDN used to be. It was like just more photo, video concentrated. This was more like creators, like digital creators concentrated. So you saw a lot of like audio companies, like lighting companies I never even heard of. I have no idea there's so many lighting companies out there. Just anything that's like, you know, to create content, like podcasting or YouTubers. It was more centered towards that. And of course, photo and video goes along with that.
Yeah.
Most of the classes were like geared towards as content creating as well, which was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
The first day we stayed only at the Nikon stage the whole day. Our friend Sharon Fiore Film, shout out. She presented with Jerry Gionis, so we stayed there the whole day.
Yeah, we were just hanging out there.
So in our head, it was still like a photo expo. And then the next day when we went back and we actually walked around, we were like, oh, there's a lot of young kids here.
What are they doing here?
yeah.
What are all these influencers and content
Yeah,
creators?
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what's happening? And then we were like, oh, that's right. B&H sells more than just cameras. They
Yeah.
do podcasting. They do
Yeah.
all this other equipment. And so there was a lot of like YouTubers and stuff presenting. And so it was really interesting to see different perspectives.
Outside of our market, but still relatable to it because we have to do all that stuff too now.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of influencers, I mean, we had.
But yeah, speaking of influencers, now we are we're a group of influencers
Yeah,
now.
speaking of which, you guys are influencers now.
Karis and Ro, can we be in the same room with them?
A podcast listener, his name is Chris Robinson, came up to me, introduced himself, and basically told he listens to the podcast and how much he's been able to relate to it, and seeing our stories basically motivates him and, you know, kind of gives him hope to reach the level that he would love to reach in his business. And it was awesome to hear that, you know, even though it's only one person that we're, you know, hearing this from, we're actually connecting with people out there, which is amazing. So shout out to Chris Robinson for coming up to us, saying hello.
Yay, Chris.
Yeah.
And thanks
Yeah.
for Karis' shirts because that's how they spotted us.
Was he like totally fanboying over you a little bit?
No, he was a nice guy. Yeah. He was very nice. Just introduced himself, and you know he knew my name, he knew Jen's name, which is pretty
Aw.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't make it.
He knows you guys as well. He spoke your names as well.
Aw.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to
Hope to
you know,
meet you
get
next
to
time,
chat
Chris.
with him.
Yeah.
Yep. It
You
was
know,
cool.
you can meet us in person, all of us in person at the Focus AF Summit, coming to you on January 11th in Homedale.
He did mention
Good
your
segue.
chicken story.
Oh my gosh, he knows everything about us.
Yeah, your chicken factory. Because from what he mentioned, he has a really good full-time job. He makes good money. So he's torn between like chasing the photography business to that level when, you know, he has this cushion like this. So I told him briefly, like, you're in a good place because you could not, you know, discount things. If somebody,
Yeah,
if it's a
do
wedding
things on
you
your
don't want,
term.
you don't have to take it.
Yeah, you can do
know?
things on your term.
So he's in a very unique situation, and it was cool to hear his story, and I got to know him a little bit. So shout out
That's
to
cool.
Chris Robinson.
We have one fan, at least one fan.
Yeah. One person listening. Love it. And then
Yay.
Karis was another
Influencer story, right?
influencer.
So like 2 weeks ago, I received an inquiry from a client that I photographed like 12,
Ben just has to lead with how it came his way first.
12
huh?
13 years ago, right? 12, 13 years ago, I shot their wedding. Oh, when New York had an earthquake. Did you know New York had an earthquake about 12, 13 years ago? Remember that?
We've had a couple of them.
Well, so
I think it was the time when we were in LA.
it's
An
possible.
earthquake?
Yeah, there was an earthquake in New York City, and they were supposed to get married at the courthouse, but then they're like, nope, emergencies, everything's shut. But the thing is, they're coming from out of town, and they were leaving the following day. So they came to New York to get married, but they couldn't
couldn't.
do it now, you know, because you know the clerk's office was closed. So we had to like scramble to get them married. I think they were the last ones to get married that day. We like begged and pleaded with them, hey, listen, we're next in line. Can you just get them married and then get them out of here? And they're like, okay, whatever. Anyway, that was 12, 13 years ago. The bride reached out and he's like, oh, we're going to be hosting an event during Fashion Week? Is a Fashion Week event? We need you for a couple hours.
She works for a vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And they sponsor event with fashion editorial, like magazine company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's collaboration with them, and they sponsor their event pretty much. They send their
So they were providing the wine.
Yep, wines and rosé.
I was like, what a fun gig.
And then day one was actually like a fashion award kind of thing. So there was actually like Hollywood like
Celebrities.
level celebrities. And like to them, like people, normal people are like nobody. Yeah, that's what I was like. And fashion people, like everyone there was like so like into themselves, like full of themselves. Like they don't really care for anyone. And I don't know if I should name now, but like
not.
big time celebrities, like they're like in the back, like they don't even want you to take their photos.
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah, they're like, they don't even come through.
Because I mean, they have to deal with that on a daily basis. They
Right.
can't even go out and have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as soon as like they all sat down for awards and that little few minutes they had like 50 photographers like in their faces. And like I could see in their faces like enough, right? And I
Yeah.
felt so bad. Like I'm like, I need to. I was like, I took like
Paparazzi.
I took like few shots and I like walked away, but I felt like so bad for them. Like I was like, oh my God, like so like we're wedding photographer, we're like they want you there, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and they need you there. But like as shooting this event,
An event,
they don't
yeah.
really. I was like, they don't really want me.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like I gotta like chase them and like
That's
force
typically
them.
why they do the like step and repeat.
Yeah,
in the beginning, so
Yep.
that they don't
Red
bother
carpet,
them.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
like just do it.
Is that what you covered, the red carpet, or did you have to do like?
So I was strictly hired for the wine company. So my only responsibility really was
to
like
cover their-
hanging out at their bar and just getting people, drinking wine and enjoying wine and getting the details. It was like really, really super easy job. But they had a PR person, and she of course wanted like me to capture all the celebrities.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, go over there, that person, this, that. And there was like fashion designer. And I had no idea who was who. So she's like, I'll tell you who. And I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, just get, even though they weren't hanging out at the bar, she's like, yeah, let's just get it, and just, can you send those photos to me? I'm like,
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
And then the day 2 was actually like an after party, like at a nightclub at a hotel, and yeah, this was hilarious. It was like literally, like you guys said, like influencers, like fashion influencers who are like literally like 20 years old, and they all actually came with their own video crew, like video.
Oh my
photo
God.
crew
Yeah, of
with,
course.
like on camera lights, and
Uh-huh.
they were like going in and out, like
Yep.
yeah, lights like
So
everywhere.
crazy.
And they're like on couches, like dancing. I was like hilarious. I'm like, what is going on?
It's like a whole other world, right?
Yeah.
It's so.
It's like being in Union Square Park at night.
Seriously, they're like all like dressed, but the younger influencers, they wanted like. They were like all about them, but like take photo of me, like
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Then
like,
they
more
want all
Yeah,
more
the-
photos. Yeah.
they're welcoming all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's a interesting world that we're living
Yeah,
in now.
I was like, where am I?
Where content is everything. What was that influencer we were watching, looking at her wedding photos yesterday?
Yeah, so I was scrolling through Instagram, and I started looking at. It's been a while since I seen Jose Villa's work. I was like, oh, like I see everyone, shooting that type of style now,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was one of the like first. I feel like. Which explains why he's doing all these high-end celebrity weddings. So I start looking at his work. I find this she's like a publicist, right? A celebrity
Yeah, now
publicist.
she owns like a fashion company.
So she got married in New York.
They released
And-
all her stuff yesterday.
Yeah, and they literally created content for every portion of the day. So, for instance, just her putting on the dress, there's a highlight and a reel for that.
Yeah.
Her looking at her mom but it was done so well that I like that. Jen was also interested, and she started looking at all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and we're
yeah.
like, holy shit! Like they turned this wedding into like this content creation like event.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Every
crazy.
part of the day had its own
Yeah,
post,
yeah,
story,
yeah.
reel, whatever. They had their rehearsal dinner in the middle of the street in Soho. So yeah, it had like that really long
Yeah,
table
yeah,
in
yeah,
Soho.
Soho, yeah.
Yeah.
Her name is @Bridget is her handle.
Yeah, it was awesome
But-
to see. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, and also that the wedding, the guests were being escorted into the venue that way with like lights
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah,
Like, it was like a real New Yorker.
Wedding.
But it was done very well. It was awesome to see that.
Yeah, but I was thinking, I can imagine how many people they had on site: video team, photo team, digital team, content creator.
Where's this?
An influencer.
yeah, an influencer that we found
exciting.
the other night.
So you guys ready to get this podcast started?
I think so. It's
Yeah.
been like half hour of talking.
Well, I had a meeting that came in,
Maybe
but I'm
more,
good.
yeah.
I'm free for the rest of the day, so we are good to go.
All right, we're
You guys ready to rock and roll?
Ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben,
I am Karis.
This is Jen.
And this is Ro.
and we are Focused AF.
Yes,
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Now we are. All
Yeah.
my meeting, I cleared my calendar for you guys.
Yeah,
now. We're
we
good.
have nothing for the
We
today
feel so
as
special
well.
today.
I'm just trying to I've actually caught up to my editing, which kind of has Jen eyeing me everything that I'm doing now because she thinks I'm not working.
He's not. He
I'm like,
legit.
Well,
Yeah.
just because you guys don't work the same hours, we can't diminish what you do and your contributions.
Exactly.
All right,
Because you guys have
Ben.
you guys have different working styles.
And being that it's the almost the fall season, which is a busy time for wedding photographers in all aspects of like potential clients and stuff. So she's very busy, answering emails, just doing business things. And I'm hanging out because I'm pretty much caught up to my
That's
deadlines.
good,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm just taking it slow now, and I'm going on bike rides with Mike Music. Shout out to Mike Music.
Well, enjoy it because you're about to get hit with like 12 weddings.
I know.
Enjoy it.
That's why I'm enjoying it now. Like I'm have the luxury of and taking that time out now because I'm not gonna have it next
Deserve
month.
it, yes.
Yeah,
All right.
but I have eyes on me. Eyes on me.
Anyway, let's go into the topic of the conversation of the podcast.
Let's do it.
All right, so what are we talking about today?
This is for the couples and the clients, and now you guys know what your photographer is doing instead of editing.
Well, when this airs about a month from now, I don't know. It'll be too late. Yeah.
Well, this episode is going to be, I think, for couples, but also I think will be helpful for photographers starting out, getting in, learning some tips and tricks on the best way to kind of handle wedding planning and photography throughout the process.
How to set up you and your clients up for success.
Yes, correct. And couples tips for you guys because you need to know these things as well as your wedding planning. I guess we'll go bit by bit.
Yeah, let's start from the
Yeah.
top.
I think we have how many items do we have? I don't know.
Today we'll talk about 3,
3?
and then we'll have another episode where we talk about another 3 or 4.
So this is the
let's see.
first.
Let's see where it goes.
First up, venue. Venue choices, tips and tricks on what to look for that. So we talked a lot about rain plan or what happens when it rains. What are the tips for people looking for their venue when thinking about photos and backup plans and things like
Well,
that?
I know what Karis is going to say. When you guys are shopping around for a venue, just make sure that you have an indoor location
Yeah.
on site. There are some venues out there, it looks gorgeous outside, but then if that's your only option for photos and the inside is just hideous, or maybe it's not built or designed for indoor photos, you might be in big trouble. I'll give you an example, right? Recently, we shot, well, not me personally, all right, but someone on our team, we photographed a wedding where there were no indoor locations available for photos. And it did rain. And the couple, they had all planned to do all their photos outside. But the thing is, it's raining. You're not going to do your photos outside. And she didn't want to get wet either, right? And the thing is, the venue didn't allow them inside because they were setting up the room, right? So any space that you would use, they're setting, you have no access to it, right? So where would you shoot? We shot in the carport. That was the only dry-ish covered area.
But yeah, situations like that happen. We've been lucky enough to not been put into that situation too often.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like a break in the rain where we're able to go outside or stuff like that. But yeah, that's one thing to consider.
Let's say that you've already chosen your venue. There's nothing you can do about it, right? So this is where choosing a photographer who has experience working with inclement weather or working at your venue, they know what they can do to kind of salvage the situation. You know what I mean?
But like there are venues that really doesn't have any like
There's a lot of venues.
indoor. I think a lot of like majority of them don't really have indoor. good indoor location. So like,
But yeah, like depends, but it could be creative, and it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It could be like a fireplace in the lobby,
Just shoot
or
tight. Shoot tight if you can.
a nice piece of furniture, a nice hallway. It doesn't have to be something big and extravagant as an outdoor location, but have those little nooks and crannies you can go to. But there are some venues that don't even have that, so it's like it can be tough. But definitely keep an eye out for things indoors that you would.
And here's my
wanna be
tip
photographed
for
with.
here's my tip for a lot of other photographers out there. And I think we touched on this a little bit earlier today in our intro. You know, it doesn't have to be a fancy, super fancy background. You know, the clients, as far as I'm concerned, they just want to have a visual record that these people showed up to the wedding. You know what I mean? Like, of course, if you can get them a better backdrop, that's awesome. But like, even if it ends up being in front of a fireplace, or if it becomes, it's in front of a plain wall, gazebo, stairs, bridges, whatever it is, right? A fountain, right? Railroad tracks, whatever you can find, right? Just put that family there. They just need to see that these people showed up to the wedding.
clear faces, sharp. Yep.
Everyone's sharp. You're not shooting on a 14
no
millimeter.
Blown out.
Yeah, you're not shooting on a 14 millimeter, and you're like 3 feet away from them. So everyone on the edges are like, they're like stretched out, like
and
a
you
piece
can
of
see the
chewing gum.
ceiling, the floor. Yeah, be very mindful. Like shoot tight,
Yeah.
Yep.
as tight as you can.
Don't show. Yep. If it's not the prettiest backdrop, show what you just
Show the
need to.
people.
Yep. Just people. Seriously, just think. I think if people start to think outside the box, even that wedding you just mentioned, where it was raining and they had to shoot at the carport, that carport where the main door was. I think if you opened up that door and just stand outside and you shoot into
Inside,
the room, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that could have worked too. It's like 4 rows of big doors.
Yeah.
I think it would have been 3 or 4 doors.
Yeah,
double
it
doors.
was a
3
big
or 4 double
entrance.
doors.
Yeah, it was a big entrance.
Yeah, and then you
so-
have the light coming in.
Yeah, and
you
then
can
the
make it work that
background
way.
will be dark and
You have to be very
just make it
creative.
work. Yeah,
But I think also the expectation needs to be on the client that like, okay, this is the card you're dealt. You
Yep.
can't rely on your photographer to be like create intense miracles.
right. No,
Because sometimes the worst thing that happens is we get a phone call like, what do we do if it rains?
yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
go by.
We have to
Yeah.
go with the
Or-
flow and what cards we're given.
I can't bring cover. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes they leave it up to us to be a
Yeah.
magician.
Yeah,
Another gripe about venues, and I think something else to look out to for if you're getting ready at a venue, some bridal suites, for whatever reason, are in the basement or have no windows because why would they? If you're still venue shopping and you plan on getting ready there, check out the bridal suite, see if there are windows, the groom suite, if they have something. We can make it work,
The
but
groom gets the
sometimes you
least
have- yeah.
amount of love. Like they'll put the groom in a damn closet full of doilies and
and
Stacked chairs,
if your
leftover
bridal suite-
tables.
Yeah, and if your bridal suite and groom suite really is not that pretty,
a hotel
Yeah,
or
then just-
Airbnb
yeah.
is the better option.
get a
Yeah.
hotel.
Your photos will be so much
it's
nicer.
your wedding day, spend a little.
Well, listen, if you end up
$200.
getting ready in a dungeon somewhere, we can make it work. There are some
Yeah,
really,
we can.
you know what? There are some very nice, fancy, like upscale venues in our area, in our market, where the guys would get ready in a dungeon. There's no mirrors.
yeah,
no
and we
windows.
move the guys. It's easier to move the guys to like the reception room by some
Yep.
windows, fake
Yep.
it, do
Get
all
some
that.
windows.
and then
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
the groom out of the dungeon.
Yeah.
yeah.
What I typically do is like if they like the room, I'll snap a few shots in there of hanging out, and I'll tell them like, listen, it's not ideal light. It's great for candids at work, but not for photos of you getting ready and your portraits. And they're like, cool, no problem. Like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
know?
But trust in
You have to trust the photographer.
Yeah, trust in us if we say with this room, I know you might love the bridal suite, it might look amazing, but there's no windows and it's not going to be aesthetically pleasing. Trust in us to move you to another completely different spot. Whether it be the reception room when we have to move some tables and chairs over and get you by the window, but
Yeah.
don't.
You can still create some great PJ work in there. It's just
Yeah.
for portraits or we call them planned. I just learned this term last weekend. It's called a planned. So it's not a candid, but it's planned. Right? So it's a posed candid. Put the tie on.
It's
Okay, can you touch the
or
tie?
it's candid. There's no.
You got to put the tie on anyway, so do it over here. That's a planned, right?
Okay, so you mean like on location and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put this tie on. Hey, you move your hand. It's in my way. So move your elbow out of the way.
So basically, one of the biggest things is rain. Plans for rain.
Yeah.
That's the number one. I don't think people plan for rain. I mean, everyone
And then
thinks that the wedding days can be.
everyone panic, like everyone panics.
Yeah.
And
You know what? Sometimes a little rain is okay too. We can go outside for a little rain.
Some
It's
people
not
go
the end of the
outside.
Right
world.
will be okay,
Yeah.
but some
It's not the end of the world,
not
too. You know,
be
if
okay.
it, a little drizzle, we could go out there for like 5 minutes, get some stuff of just a couple.
Bring some clear umbrellas.
Yeah,
It looks
that
cute.
works too. It looks nice.
It tells a story, I feel like, of the day. If you go out there with
Yeah.
some
Your
cute
wedding day.
umbrellas. We did a first look 2 years ago in the rain. They got their clear umbrellas. We went out there, got it. There were some fun shots. And then the
It's
rest
really
we
your
did everywhere else.
mindset. Yep. How
Yeah,
you
they say
approach.
that the raindrops are tears of all the past lovers. You know, they don't get to spend the rest of eternity with the bride or the groom. You know,
What
someone,
is this?
the video team we worked with this weekend told the couple that it's just angels crying.
on their wedding day. Yeah. So, like, to go back on my analogy of all the past lovers who are lamenting the fact they don't
So
get
did
to
it
spend.
pour in your wedding day, Ben?
No,
Is that what
actually,
you're
no.
saying?
It actually, the sun was shining. Nobody was
Your
sad.
past lovers were so happy.
It was a heat wave.
It actually was. It was so hot. To get back on track, right? Let's get serious here, right? So if it does rain on your wedding day and you don't have any indoor shooting locations, trust your photographer, whatever they might kind of like guide you to. But here are maybe a couple of my ideas, right? When it does rain or if it does rain on your wedding day. The first thing I would do is try to find some indoor locations nearby, such as museums, libraries, and train stations, okay? I've done a lot of fun because they're usually covered, okay? The other thing is if you know that it's gonna rain, the forecast, you'll get a rough forecast about a week beforehand. If you need to, just rent out a big Airbnb, do all your pictures in there, all right? It might be $300 or $400 or whatever it is, but listen, it's your wedding photos for the rest of your life. The $300 or $400, whatever it might be well worth the cost. You know what I mean? Or even if you're staying at a regular, let's say like you already got your room block, right? You got your room block like 6-8 months ago. So a week before, you're not going to change those plans, right? Well, if that's the case, what I would recommend is maybe see if there's a conference room available. Because I've done photos in conference rooms before. There's no shame in that. Yeah, big ass windows, a lot of room to spread out and everything. I bring my lights, we're good to go. You know what I mean?
For worst case scenario, and have offered this, no one has really taken us up on the offer. The venue will always allow you to come back if you.
Some
Will they
venues.
really?
Yeah, well,
Some venues.
most venues will allow you to come back.
Some venues. Don't
Most
speak for
venues. Most venues
During the week, right?
will allow you to come back and just for 30, 40 minutes just to get the portraits. I've offered couples this at no charge because I felt bad. They've never taken me up on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to speak for other people, but like if it's like, if I see that it's like really making them upset, and if I like the couple too and it's close by, the venue's not too far, I'll offer them to come back for 30 minutes if they're willing to put their dress and suit back
Hair,
on.
makeup.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
And I feel like in the worst case scenario, that's a good option too. Or, you could even charge them for it if they're willing to pay, if it's something that means a lot to them.
Yeah, I wouldn't charge for that either. But I may have offered it once or twice. And they did take me up on the offer.
No, they've never taken me up on it, right?
No.
I've always offered it. And of course, I don't do it without confirming with Jen and make sure she's okay with it too. But the couples are like, no, it's a fine. And then I guess they'll see the photos and all right, we kind of have enough,
Because we've made it work in other ways.
Yeah.
The instances that we did have them, they did have a few indoor locations. So we'd use all of that.
Yeah.
But
it's really the family pictures and the group photos that they really want too,
Yeah.
Yes.
And those are the I feel like are the easiest things to just do inside as long as there's space for them. Like you mentioned, it could be in front of anywhere. You just need your lights, set them up, boom, get it done.
So what I would recommend is when you're choosing your venue, try to find one that has an indoor spot for you to use, right? When you guys are choosing your venues. If it doesn't, when you guys are getting your room block as a backup plan, make sure your hotel also has an indoor location that you can potentially use. Because there are some hotels in northern New Jersey, they're gorgeous. They have these lobbies with the libraries.
lobbies are nice, yeah.
So nice, right? So in the off chance that you don't have an indoor spot at your venue, you can shoot at the hotel, So that's my tip.
And what are you guys' thoughts about people who say they want someone who has experience working at that venue?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
A good photographer could work anywhere. Not having been there, if you understand lighting, like this doesn't matter where you're shooting.
The analogy that I like to bring up, and actually, I bring them into this thought exercise, right? I would say something like this: let me ask you this: do you travel? Do you hop on a plane and go somewhere ever? So once you land, you probably rented a car to get around, right? But this is a new space, new location. You're not familiar with the area, right? But I'm going to assume that you were able to get from point A to point B safely, right? You're sitting in front of me right now. Clearly, you were able to get from point A to point B safely, right? The truth of the matter is, no matter where you go in the universe, if you were to travel somewhere and rent a car, you could probably get from point A to point B. And the reason for that is because the rules of the road are the same no matter where you go. You go on green, you stop on red, try not to kill anyone, right? And when it comes to photography, it's the same thing. I'm looking for light moments. I'm looking for composition. That's going to exist in any environment where I show up. Okay? Doesn't matter where I go in the universe. Those three things are going to be there. And those are the three things that are going to be the most important for strong photos. Okay? Lights, composition, and moment. So I don't need to have experience at your location. Now, does it help me that I've had experience at your location? I mean, if it helps me like get the client, yeah, I'll tell you, yeah, of course. I've been at your venue before. Yeah, totally. You want to have somebody who has experience, but really, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah,
You know?
it's more of a selling point. As soon as we know that we shot there, it's more like, yeah, we've been there. It's more a comfort level.
Right.
But
Does it really change anything?
No, it doesn't.
Not really.
For us, it's actually, more refreshing when we shoot at a place that we've never been to. It's more inspiring because like, oh, all right, this is something new. I've never been here. And you kind of do stuff that you probably look for stuff that either people have done it or they haven't. You don't know because you've never been there. Another thing we do, if we never shot there, we try to get there a little early.
Just look around.
Yeah, just look around. Just to see where the best light is or where the sun is moving. Just to scout out and just, look for first look locations, potential portrait locations. That takes like 5 minutes. It's not something that we should tag along and go see the venue before.
So you don't do a special trip on a separate day for
No.
the 2 hours?
I've done that in the
pre-scout?
past just to get the wedding when we were, trying to build our business. That's something, that I don't need to go there. And the way we tell them, and it's just 100% true, we're not just blowing smoke up their asses. Like, if we go see it today, we don't know what the light's going to be
100%.
when we shoot there. We don't know if it's going to be cloudy. We don't know what time we're going to start. There's so many factors. And then also some locations, if it's a golf course, they're not going to allow you in this location at this time. So what's the point? To me, it's just for them to feel comfortable to see it. Like we don't have to do it.
Yeah. I did that a couple of times before. And then on the wedding day, it was a totally different situation. I was like, I told you, there's no point for us to do this a couple months ago. You made me call the way out here, hang out with you for like 5 hours, going through the whole place. It makes no sense. Why, everything that you planned didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or a location that you chose, you show up, there's tables everywhere. Because now it's an active wedding day and things are, being moved around.
Yeah, that's another thing to be very flexible in your thinking of location, what you have access to. Like, you might love this spot for the first look, but it might look like crap on the day of. Or they are, like you said, putting furniture and things up in that space. And you have to be flexible with it.
I always have 3 spots on hand whenever I'm doing portraits. Anything because usually I try to stay in one place because I want to be as efficient as possible. I don't want to take our couples away from their party. So usually I do all my pictures kind of like close to one another. Once I arrive on site, just like you guys, I arrive a little bit earlier if I've never been there before. All right, this is where we're doing our photos. And we're doing our first look here, family photos here, bridal party photos here, and some couple portraits here. And I'll have 3 options. And I'll present the option. If those options are available to us, I will bring it up to the clients. Hey, which option is the best one for you?
You can also ask the venue staff, like the bridal attendants. I typically ask them to, hey, where do normally people do first look? Now that could go 2 ways. If they show me the location, I'd be like, all right, I don't want to do it there. And if I have no choice, I'm like, yeah, this works. So it's more of like, it kind of educates me to make sure I don't do it in a very common location. And if I only have that location, then all right, yeah, it could work here. They're very helpful. Usually, the bridal attendants are very helpful. They'll tell you where to, typically where the money shots are. So if you've never been there, that's a big help too.
If you know your venue has multiple weddings at a time, be prepared for the fact that they will not let you access certain spaces because of the other wedding. You might be like, oh, I love this grand staircase. You might not be able to get access to it because the other wedding is there. So these are things that they don't tell you when they are booking you.
Yeah.
They will just be like, yeah, you have access to everything. And on the day of the wedding, you can't access certain spaces. So just be prepared for that. And don't get angry at us for it. Just realize that's a venue thing.
Is the venue won't even tell the couple.
They'll get in your ear.
They'll tell you. And one thing that I told Jen recently, that what I want to start doing is I'm going to start telling them, can you tell the couple, not me?
Yeah.
you know, because they tell you in your ear, and they expect you to either not to say anything and be a magician and just keep shooting where you,
can't
are.
be here right now. Get out.
Yeah.
Other brides
know,
coming.
Yeah, there are some venues they can do 2 weddings separated. Everyone's segregated. They have their own kitchens. They have their
Right.
own like. I'll give you an example. A venue that keeps everyone separated and it's okay because they have their own shooting spaces. Rockley is like that, right?
Yeah.
They can separate. That's fine. That's awesome. Westmount's another one. They separated, right?
But I think their couples are prepared for that in advance, and they can
Right.
see it when they go. But there are other venues, you know, when other weddings going on, but they don't tell you you're going to have the same common spaces for photos.
Exactly.
So you have to wait for the other one, or you might not get access to that space because of the other wedding.
We recently not recently, but last year we did a wedding where I had to take the groomsmen to the parking lot because I wasn't allowed on the grounds in the courtyard at all because there's a wedding going on. All the windows, you can see the courtyard.
The reception windows were.
Yeah. So I can't use the lobby because the guests are walking in and out to go to the restroom. So at this point, you're just like, oh,
Why are we here?
yeah. A parking lot? Like, I mean,
That's gonna be Karis's new new hashtag. Why am I here?
Why are we
that
here?
adds a lot of stress to us. But like I said, as long as you communicate with your couple what's going on.
Yeah, I would say couples, when you're at a venue, you know it's multiple weddings at a time, go to them and say, what is the plan for when another wedding is going on? Am I limited to certain spaces? What time can I get into the venue? Because some people, they don't even know that either as well. If there's a wedding, like a day wedding, they're like, no, you can't come until
4 o'clock. So
Yep.
3
4
o'clock.
o'clock. So you can't do anything else here. And then they have to worry about scrambling to get a getting ready location, another photo location.
Right.
So find out what the game plan is for that.
Like you book the venue because of the gorgeous grounds, but you don't even have access to it till like close
To
to
a certain time.
close.
Yeah.
It's almost getting dark outside because I have a daytime wedding.
Yep.
Same thing goes for golf clubs, people.
Yep.
They're beautiful.
They're run separately.
So everyone runs something differently. Some venues will let you go on your golf cart and go everywhere. Some are like, no, you just get this 10-foot perimeter
that's
around
it.
the venue and that's it.
The members are more important.
You
Yeah.
cannot even touch the grass. That's
Yeah.
it.
And that
Yeah.
happened at our wedding 2 days ago. Like she thought she had access to everything, and then
Yeah.
it was like, no, you can't go past this fence line.
Yep.
So these are things they don't tell you. So be sure to ask them. Every golf club is differently, but
Yeah, I
ask.
shot at a golf course this past weekend too. And I normally try to stay off the course because I know there's active golfers there. But the bride was insistent to shoot at this one spot. So she talked to the attendant,
Bridal
whoever's in charge,
attendant,
whoever's running the show, and they're like, if you want to, you can, but like if you get hit by a golf ball,
Yep.
it's not our fault.
Yep.
So this is what we'll do. We'll have the attendant go down the course just a little bit, and if you hear 4, everyone duck.
We almost got hit a couple weeks ago. That was-
You know?
it hit the golf cart.
At that venue that Ben shot, they said a boy actually got hit by a golf ball. Yep.
I've been hit before, not during a wedding, but
Yeah.
in the leg. It hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, listen, I'm there to serve. If the clients are educated and they know what they're signing up for, then that's not my circus, not my monkeys. I'm
Yeah,
just there to
yeah.
take photos. So, if they want to shoot there, they'll shoot there. So that's what I did. You know, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't argue anymore. I'm at a stage in my career where I don't argue. If you want it, I can advise you against it. But if you still decide you want to do
Me
it,
too.
just go ahead and do whatever you want to do. I'm just here to serve.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I'm working for you. If you want to give me 5 minutes of portraits,
That's
that's
fine.
fine
Yep.
with me too.
If you want
you want to
zero,
give me an hour and a
yep.
half, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's your wedding day.
Yep.
I want you to enjoy your day.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So the moral of the story with venues is ask a lot of questions when it comes to
Yes.
locations, timing, access.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Inclement weather, like
Weather
plan B.
plan.
Plan B, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also prep locations. Did we say prep locations on site?
Yep,
Yeah.
we did. Yeah,
We did.
scope out. You know,
Is
make
are
sure-
the guys getting ready in the broom closet
yeah.
with all the leftover
The
furniture?
windows. Yep.
we typically, as a photographer, we just need one nice, good sized window to
Yep,
let some
that's it.
natural light in, and we can make it work.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you give me a nice hedge, I can do all my photos there.
Yeah.
A nice hedge with backlight, that's all I need. I can do all your photos there.
So,
So true.
after a venue, people start looking for their vendors.
Right.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
tips for
just
vendors.
Reach out
So-
to they
Say
reach
tips like
out
as
to
in money
us.
tips?
So we're gonna break them down. Hair, makeup. What are some wedding day tips for a photo that kind of help with the day?
For us,
Well, for couples and for
Okay.
us. So,
So-
working cohesively with us.
So that's a 2-part question.
yeah.
Yeah.
So typically, we like to arrive when hair and makeup is done or almost done. So we tend to kind of prep the bride to tell the hair and makeup team to be done at that time that we arrive. Because if they're not, usually if they're running behind, it's only going to take an extra 20, 30 minutes, which is okay. We're doing details during that time. So a lot of that is like, kind of like the same way they put the ceremony invite time is not the actual time. That's what we tend to do with hair and makeup because, I would say like 85, 90% of the times we're delayed. It's because of a hair and makeup thing.
I was an hour and a half late this weekend because of hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And we learned, and not because like makeup artist told us, it's not technically them most of the time. It's bridesmaids. They're not paying attention. They're all over the place. No one's doing what they need to do. The bride is too worried about a million other things. No one stays in the chair long enough to get finished in time. So we used to get frustrated and say it was like, oh, they just take forever with hair and makeup. But there are a lot of factors from the morning that lead. So make sure your bridesmaids are
paying attention
and are there on
there
time
ready to go and get done. Have someone else to help coordinate everything.
And also if you hire a makeup team and you have 12, 13 people getting ready, don't allow them to just bring one person
or two people. That's not going to be enough.
Yeah, like they need proper support.
Hire enough people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing is, they can't compel these hair and makeup people to bring a big team because I understand it. There's, if they bring more team members, they have to split that.
Yeah, but even two, if you're doing 12,
that's
14
not
people, two is better than one person doing it. For everyone.
You like 2 or 3 for sure.
Yeah, for 12 people, you need at least 3, 3 of each, 3 hair, 3 makeup. I mean, listen, I stay in my lane. When it comes to photography, I always tell the couples, hey, listen, you're a hair and makeup person. They'll know what they need to do. I just need you to be ready at this time.
Exactly what we do.
Because I don't want to go into their lane because I don't want them in my lane, right?
Yeah.
So I was just like, listen, you have this many people. Just make sure you start around this time and use someone on my list. Actually, I was like, here these. I have like I don't know, like a good 8 to 10 really talented hair and makeup people on my list, and they'll keep me on time. Listen, as far as how this industry works, right? It's a lot of it is professional referrals, right? If you are a hair and makeup person and you want to end up on a photographer's preferred vendor list,
get them ready on time.
If you're on time, that is the number one thing that you can do to end up on a photographer's.
Shout out to Make Me
Up Eva.
Make Me Up Eva. She'll email us whenever we work with her. She sends us an email. When do you need this bride ready by? And we'll send her our timeline. We get there. Yeah. Awesome.
So unless she's so on point that like you're excited to see her, but she's gone by the time you get there. You're like, damn, I guess we're not gonna say hi.
But how we've been doing this over 10 years, she's the only one that has ever reached out to ask us when we need our bride ready for.
Yeah. You guys remember Michelle from Pink Home? She does the same thing, right? She always keeps us on time. The other one is Michelle Elise as well. She also keeps us on time. So I mean, it's
crucial for us.
Yeah, just keep us on time. That's the only thing I ask for. You don't have to, it'd be nice if you tagged us, but like even if you didn't tag us, if you can just keep us on time, and don't screw up our schedule. That's the only thing.
Another thing to factor in: if the venue does not allow you to arrive on site, and you need more time, spend the money and get a hotel room, and start the process there. A lot of times they don't want to spend the money or pay the staff to get there earlier. They charge you per hour. And now you're putting more pressure on the hair and makeup team because now they're short. They're shorted the amount of time they need to get everyone ready because they don't want to pay extra to arrive earlier. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to, and you're investing a lot of money already. It's just a little bit more money to arrive a little bit earlier.
Just get a hotel.
Or just pay the venue a little,
a little bit, an hour, 2 hours.
Exactly, and that will help the hair and makeup team,
stay on time,
be able to get everyone ready at the time that they need to be ready.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing about hair and makeup, make sure that you, the bride, are the last to get ready. Okay.
Oh, we say the opposite.
Yeah, we do second to last.
We do
because
like
the thing
middle,
is, because if you want mom to get you in the dress, but mom's not ready yet, or you want to do a pajama shot, but you have one bridesmaid who's not done yet, I can't do that pajama shot for you because you have one girl who's not done yet. That's not fair for her. You know what I mean? And also, you want mom to dress you, to zip you up. Well, guess what? Mom is not ready for another 30, 40 minutes. Now, what are you going to be doing I mean, I can stall time a little bit. I can have you read a card. I can have you write a card, write your vows. I can have you, pose with your dress and all that kind of stuff. But that's not going to take up 40 minutes an hour.
No.
All these things.
You know what I mean? So, like, my recommendation is for the bride to be last. But why? What's your rationale for her to be
So
second
we
last?
asked that like whoever's getting her dressed or helping in those photos and her be one of the first to be done.
Yep.
Because I say if I have a bridesmaid straggling, then I'm okay. Like, are you okay with not getting this robe shot just so we can start getting you dressed? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, it's fine. Because what we've come across is sometimes they take even longer with the bride if they're last. So like everyone's done, bride's
And-
still in the chair. Then I literally can't do anything else at all because I can't do robe shot without the bride.
Right.
I can't get the bride dressed because the bride's not done.
Yeah.
So then you're just kind of sitting there. So, but I think the easiest way to solve this problem is just tell them the time that you
To be
absolutely
ready,
need to be
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
And everybody be done.
Everyone needs to be done
Yeah.
at this time.
Ask your photographer what time do I need to be done, and all the ladies. And Yep.
There's certain vendors too that we worked with often, and we kind of know if they need a little extra time. So if we see that during the timeline meeting that they hired, this
So-and-so,
team,
yeah.
we'll be like, listen, they're amazing at what they do, but we'll go a little earlier than we normally do, just in case. Yeah.
Till
Do
the
they-
bride on Saturday.
do they
I
have-
was like, be ready by 1 because this person takes a little while. She's like, I'll tell her 12:30. I was like,
Yeah,
Perfect.
and that's okay too. Like, I have no, like, their talent is their talent. They're great at what they do, but they take they need more time.
Yeah. All right. So next vendor.
next vendor, wedding planner / coordinator. What should the photographer, what advice should they give couples about coordinators and planners? I think the biggest
think-
for me is connecting with them on how they handle a wedding day. We were talking to another photographer. He's worked with this planner many times and
They're planning
has become very minute and like very detail oriented.
where they're planning the moments.
Like every moment is at this time, and then
At
at this
10:34,
time,
this is gonna happen.
this
At
is what's gonna
10:36, this is
happen,
gonna
and this was
happen.
And I
Pretty
told
much.
him, I was like, well, most of the sometimes they do that, but then they just let things happen naturally. He's like, no, this planner will actually
Come
make sure this
Come in
happens
and
at
say,
that
yeah.
time and say this has to happen in this way.
That's
So for me, the thing is to talk to your planner about how do you work with other vendors? Do you give them the freedom to do what they do? Like how involved are you in their process? Your process should be making sure things happen on time, seamlessly, but how much do you insert yourself with your other vendors and how do you try to
There's
kind of manage
nothing
the
wrong
day?
with inserting themselves. They just need to know when to insert themselves into those portions of the day. Like, there's no reason why they should be planning out the first look to the minute. Like, it's fine if they schedule it and say, all right, this is like, how like some planners break everything down just to get a sense of time, but then they expect you as the photographer to know that, hey, if you're behind, we need to be doing all this stuff. You need to know when things happen, but if they're there stopping like moments to go on to the next thing, that's not right. That I feel like that's interfering. They're not staying in their lane.
Yeah. Or if they're in your ear telling you like, are you not going to do this? Are you going to do that? And it's like, I think every photographer has their own process. We don't need another party in our ear telling us like,
Wait, this is
do
my
this,
wedding.
do that. Yeah, exactly.
Karis received a timeline from a planner that was like down to the minute. I think it was like, all right, well, at 2:55, we're gonna do this first look. And Karis is looking at this like, you're new to this, huh? You think this is gonna happen at 2:55? You really think it's just gonna be this precise on a wedding day? I mean, come to find out, she was new.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, I like to plan everything out in like 30-minute chunks. It's gonna happen sometime in this 30-minute period.
Right.
You know what I mean?
big structural timeline.
Like a
That's
10,000 foot
about it,
view, like a
right.
10,000 foot view, like, all right, this is roughly what's going to happen. You try to like plan it down to like the minute.
Not
I don't think that's being
gonna
very
happen.
realistic. I don't think that's being very realistic.
impossible.
Not impossible, but you're going to annoy a lot of people.
Impossible. And wedding
Yeah.
day is very chaotic.
Because
and
now you're
many
like, you
different
look at the
parts.
time, like, oh my God, I got to
Yep.
do the reveal with
We
the
gotta
dad.
run now.
Oh
yeah.
shit! I gotta do the reveal with grandma. Oh shit! I gotta do the reveal with the bridesmaids. Like at this time, like I don't mind if they create something like that as long as they're not there dictating it on the day of. You know what I mean? Because I typically, all right, cool. Now I know that I have to do these reveals. Great. I know when I have to do it.
Right. Right.
But this is not to say that all planners are created equal. Because
No,
I've
right.
worked with some
Yeah.
amazing planners, right?
course, yep.
They make my life easy. They make the couple's life easy, and they do do a lot of that planning component to make sure that all those headaches are taken care of. You know what I mean? So we don't have any headaches.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I
it
mean?
was very super. Like we had one this weekend, super helpful. Like she let us do our thing, trusted us to be in our process, and like while we're still shooting the couple, she's rounding up the wedding party, rounding up family,
Right. Yep.
getting them in the spot that they need to be when we go for photos, which is so helpful because usually that's me doing it.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
I have to
she
be like, bro,
was-
I have to go get all
she
the
was
wedding
amazing.
party.
Yep.
She was amazing.
So you're on your own for the next 10 minutes while I go do that. And it's like, no, we're the photographers. We're not there to be the planners and coordinate and wrangle people. That's not our thing.
Right.
Do we do it 9 times out of 10? Yes, because it makes our jobs easier, but also it takes away from like other time of doing things.
And
So.
she wasn't like really in our ear, like saying, "Hey, you got 5 minutes here." Like she would just
Right.
be like, "Hey, I'm gonna grab these people for to do the next thing."
Yes.
And she set it up in a way that it was like, so we did the reveal with the bridesmaids, moms, in front of the venue. 2 minutes later, she had the dad looking the other way, like 20 feet away. And then after that, she had the groom around the corner looking the other way. So we went from the reveal with the
Wow.
bridesmaids, the reveal with
Boom,
the
boom, boom.
dad.
It was awesome.
And then the first look, like we didn't have to run and get anyone. Like she took care of that for us. And the little things like that make a huge difference. She was amazing.
I think that day of I think planning part is leading up to the day, like scheduling and timeline. That's leading up to the wedding day. But I think most crucial for planners or wedding day of coordinators. Yeah, actually helpful.
Yeah.
Being there, stand by, be like, what can I do to help the bride and groom?
Exactly.
What can I do?
And not micromanaging the
Yeah,
other
to
vendors.
other vendors.
Here's a good test too to see how good they are. Something happened last wedding. The same planner, the groom was flipping out. They put the florist put the wrong date on the big mirror board, like the seating chart.
Shit.
So he's flipping out, and his first reaction is, "Let me go tell the bride." Like I'm calling her. I was like, "Don't call her. Call the planner. She's right here. She'll take care of it." She took care of it.
Yes.
The florist came back, fixed
Of
it. The
course.
bride never knew.
Yeah.
Now he would have stressed the bride out, and I was like, "No, we don't need that." She was already, a little flustered with relatives and stuff. So, a good planner is there for that,
To take care of problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to
Right.
solve
That's
issues.
what it
Yes.
is. Yep.
So that's another thing too, because they were going to this bride for every little thing. And she's like, why does everyone keep coming to me? I said, because they don't understand about the planner or what their role is. Their first thought is it's your wedding, so they're going to come to you with every issue.
Yeah.
So if you know you're hiring a coordinator or a planner, educate your family, your wedding party, be like, on the day of, so-and-so is taking care of it. I don't want to hear about a thing. Go to them.
In my opinion, there are two types of planners, right? The ones who believe that they are there to call the shots, to arrange everything like the general of the day. And the other ones who are like the facilitator, right? What can I do to help make your day a success? Florist, what do you need? Band, what do you need? Photographer, what do you need? And I'll make it happen, right?
That's the good planner.
That's the planner that we all want, you know?
And bride and groom needs that kind of planner. You know what I mean?
Because the other ones, like, where I'm the general, I'm calling the shots, you're going on my timeline, take it or leave it. They hired me to call the shots. And in my opinion, I don't think that is the...
no one person calls the shot in a wedding day. It's like a team effort. And yep.
Yeah. It's
That's
more
how you
about a
ruffle
collaboration.
feathers, because all those vendors, they don't want someone in their ear telling them how to do their job or when to do it.
You also need to know what type of a wedding planner you're hiring too. If it's someone that specializes in like design, they're there to just do that too as well. I mean, that's their main focus, is to put the whole reception together.
Pretty.
So they can't be there at every moment
To
'cause-
facilitate things and
Right.
solve problems. Like, yeah.
So if you hire someone for full design and planning, that's not what they're there for. They're not there to help you wrangle family. Some do. Some will bring like an extra set of hands that can do that. Others are just there specifically for the design of the wedding. So I feel like as a photographer, sometimes you need to realize what type of planner they are. And, but hey, if they're there for the design, you're not going to go up to them for like, can you help me wrangle family?
Where's grandma?
Yeah. They're not going to help you,
Yeah.
So you also have to know the planner you're working with, like what do they specialize in?
Yeah. Like, I don't mind that, that they play an active role on the day with the planning before and all that. I don't mind that they are very hands on. I don't have an issue with that. It's just when it's not a collaborative effort.
Right.
That
When
kind of
they're just delegating and
not even delegating. They're barking orders and stuff like that, and that's not always.
Doesn't fly with me. No. I will not work with you.
I gotta say, my drink got way better.
On the bottom, right? It's really good at the bottom.
That's because
It's
the
delicious.
sugar is on the bottom.
It's so good.
It's
We
delicious.
needed to mix it.
I did mix it.
Next vendor. What tips can we give brides about DJs?
Oh,
DJs or bands or
DJ
all entertainment?
all entertainment.
Entertainment, right?
From a photo perspective.
Photo
Things to look out for. Because I feel like for the music they play,
all right,
things
the
like
most
that,
important
that's fine.
thing is for me is the lighting they provide. If your venue is a large venue, the reception room is large, you're gonna want uplighting. So that's something they should consider. Is the DJ usually offers uplighting. Definitely invest in it. It makes your photo and video look so much better. But don't go with purple. Don't go purple, blue.
Don't
I
go
can rock any
blue.
color. I can rock any color.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm using
No,
OCF.
but
It's all
who
good.
looks good in
We use
blue?
OCF too, Ben.
I personally always advise our couples.
Clearly, Ben is the less picky of the group, but don't listen to him.
I always advise a nice warm white.
Right.
It's just classy. It just
Skin
looks
neutral
awesome.
tone.
Yeah. But during the partying,
Or you guys can
do
learn
what
how to
you
use
want.
Flash.
Hey.
What do you mean? It looks amazing in the background. Everything looks
I'm
cohesive.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'll also tell them, hey, when the partying, I know a lot of photographers complain about spotlights during the partying. I don't care about it.
Whatever. Yep.
Yeah,
Spotlights
I'll just
during
go
the-
behind it. I'll go behind the lights, but
Those moving lights.
for the first dancers, that's one thing that I sometimes tend to ask is just what they're like. If I see little shapes flying around the room, I just say, hey, listen, can you just not just for the important stuff?
Mhm,
Can you not use or aim it to the ceiling?
mhm.
And they're okay. Sometimes every now and then somebody will get nasty, but they'll still do it. And I just tell them listen, I don't want little shapes on their faces.
Do you know what I used to do that used to piss them off? When I asked them nicely if they could maybe take it easy on the stencils, the gobos and stuff, because
Yeah,
I don't want
that's
to see
what I'm saying.
I don't want to see patterns on the dress when I'm photographing it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So they're like, no, fuck you, go get away from me, right? So I'm like, okay. So then I'll pull out my big ass light, and then I'll put it on the dance floor and basically light it up like a fucking football stadium, right? And yeah, you don't want to work with me, then I have to do my thing because these photos are all they have. So
I don't mind the light shows. It's just there's a time for it, and during the first dance, there shouldn't be little shapes, everything flying around.
But why did we get into this?
What if they put your business card? Right? I don't know.
They could, in theory, they could. But I was like, this is so bad.
Same
Why am I here?
dance.
Why am I here? Why am I here? But in any case, when it comes to entertainment, lighting is important, like you mentioned,
Yes.
right? If anything at all, just for the formalities, I do kindly request that they maybe take it easy on the spotlights. But if they don't, I'll have to shoot into the DJ booth. That's the only thing, right?
That's what I typically do.
But I won't be able to shoot into the crowd if that were the case, right? I have a clause in my contract. If I have interference from other vendors and stuff, you get what you get, But I'll always try to communicate with the entertainment. Hey, listen, what are you doing for lights and blah, 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 right? Most of the time I get cooperation, but if not, then I have to shoot a different way. That's why we're the professionals, right? We have to figure it out, right?
How about zap shooters?
I no longer care about it. It's one of those things that just everyone does it. It's just like
I don't care about it. I'm like, I work around with them. They're cool. They're getting shots of guests that I'm
Crippin'
not
grins.
getting. So it's
Yeah.
great. I have no problem with it. What I'm not a fan of is when they put it on a big ass screen TV in the reception.
People think you took those photos.
Not only that, not just that, but also brides and grooms. Think of this of like an amateur photographer getting the worst shots of your guests and then them being on display on the TV for everyone to
yeah,
see.
it's very rare that
You
that there's
see like
someone that's
some
good.
really bad angles.
Oh, yeah.
Some weird faces of guests. They don't cull the photos. They just hand over a card.
Yep.
And you can see some crazy stuff on that screen, and your guests are seeing themselves not really in the best light possible.
It's very rare that the photographer that they have brought is really good. It has happened. There are some really good
Zap
zap
shooters,
shooters. Yeah.
right.
yeah, I've seen some cringy photos, and I'm like, no, they're not mine.
They're
not
dancing on a
ours.
dance
Yeah.
floor. They don't want to see drunk photos of themselves on a dance floor. That's the craziest thing to me,
Yeah. But I'm saying, if you want a zap shooter, totally get it because you have some extra guest photos. They'll get more stuff that we're not getting, which is fine. But they'll have them on display on the screen at the reception.
But sometimes they'll send a zap shooter to go shoot ceremony.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
That's no bueno.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I've seen
And
like
they'll
twice.
shoot first
Yeah.
dances and stuff like that. I get it because I guess sometimes these photographers can be hard asses and they just like, no, you get these photos when I get them to you, right?
Mhm.
But maybe they spend all this money on this setup where they have to show a picture on their setup, right?
I don't
So they
know
need a picture,
why.
you know?
Live the day. Like, why do you want your photo that you're living?
It's for the same
currently?
reason why photographers do slideshows, same day
Yeah,
slideshows.
Don't get
Oh
it.
no, what happened to us recently? One of the weddings we did, the DJ, I never worked with him, real nice guy, comes up to me. He has this like a nice little screen, but it's not like hanging. It's part of like the facade. It was pretty cool.
It's his
So-
backpack.
No, it's just part of his setup in front of his
know.
booth.
I
setup. So
know.
he comes up to me, introduces himself. That's another thing. Like introduce yourself to each other. Sometimes, you know, the DJs don't say hi to me at all. Like I have to go up to them and like introduce myself. Like be friendly.
Yeah, were you tempted to unplug his setup?
No,
Shout out to Jason.
I would only do it if Jen had beef with them. But he comes up to me, he has a screen. He goes, "Hey, I would love to show some photos. If you could send me photos from today."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Hey, your computer won't read my format." I told him like it's a raw format.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, can you like convert them on your camera?" I said, "I'm not touching them." So I go up to him, I tell Jen, I was like, could you go talk to him? Maybe we could send him photos from the engagement session.
Mhm.
And he was happy with that. Jen downloaded 10 pictures, gave it to him, and he was playing all night on his screen. So certain things like that, I don't mind doing, but I'm not gonna like start
Was-
converting
was he-
stuff.
Is it Ian?
No, he's
No,
from
his
New
name
York
was
area.
Larry.
This
His name
was
was Larry.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really nice guy. Awesome. Very pleasant to work with. Like he partied hard.
Yeah. So that's another thing with entertainment. There was an amazing sunset this weekend. We wanted to take them out so bad.
Yeah.
But this DJ, who was really, really good, he just dropped bangers like the first 3 songs. That
It wasn't
3
his fault.
songs in, the groom was like shirtless, suspenders off, hair's all rustled.
It looked
I
like
was
got to
like-
a scuffle.
I was like, wait,
Done.
we're still gonna do some stuff. Like this was before speeches. Like he was even before parent dances, he was torn to bits. I was
my
like,
gosh.
but they wanted to party, so
Yeah.
it worked out.
So
and he was really good. So
the videographer we worked with was also really nice. So she came up to me and was like, "Hey, do you think we're still gonna do sunset shots?" And I go to her. I was like, "Look at the groom, right?
Look at the scene.
Yeah. I was like, look at him and let me know if you feel that's a good idea." And she looks over and she starts cracking up. And she was like, "No, I was just asking you if you were gonna try to." I was like, I'm
them
not
together."
asking him nothing." And then we did go up to him, and Jen told him like, "Hey,
I was like, so about the sunset shots, I guess
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
happen? He was like, guess not.
no." So he goes, "I don't mind. I'll fix myself." And all of a sudden, we're doing toes. Then we're doing parent dances.
Yeah.
The sun is gone.
It's done.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah, you have a 15-minute
to
window.
his defense, when we were having our vendor meal, he told us that they loaded him with like a list of songs
All party
that
songs.
he has no breaks, and he has to like
there was
just.
maybe like one slow
Yeah.
song the whole night.
And as he's telling us this, the bride walks in, starts chit chatting with us, and tells him, "Hey, by the way, can you play this song too?" So he was like, you kind of see like he's like, "It's not me, even I love that they're dancing, but they gave me this jam packed."
He's got a job to do.
playlist. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got a job just like
so
we do.
you know,
Yeah.
he also like he explained to us like why, he went 100 miles an hour right away.
I was
Yeah.
like, shirts usually don't come off till like
So
the
the
last
end of the
hour.
night.
What is going on? Why is it off 2 songs in?
But my biggest thing is, it's important that we all try to stay in our lanes.
Yeah.
That's just my grievance, with entertainment. Sometimes they come into our lane a little bit with the zap shooters. There was another time, there was an incident where I was shooting a wedding and this guy, I don't know what he was doing. I thought he was in there spinning and he came out with me during night shots to keep it on. He's like, "Oh, it's just a beautiful night out here. I wanted to enjoy the night." No, he was checking on me to kind of rush the process and stuff. And of course, the video person I was working with that night was just slow as hell, right? So like I didn't even get a chance to like do my thing. But he was
That happened to
basically
me once.
he was just trying to rush the process. He's like, "Yo, I want to get these. I want to get these this couple back on the dance floor." I was like, "Dude, you're gonna have them all night. I only had them here for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, why don't you stay in your lane?
What they want to do is they want to bring that couple back to the dance
I understand,
floor.
you know, but they also, you know, they hired this DJ to make sure that everyone's having a good time, but they also hired us to create these pictures for them, right? You know, like everyone has to understand that, you know, yes, your job is important, but it doesn't supersede, you know, the importance of somebody else's job. You know what I mean? Like I was only gonna take him away for a little bit. You know,
he's probably looking at you like, "Are you done, man?"
That's exactly what he was like. I was like, dude, like, you know, I just got out here, man. You know.
But that's also like, you know, sometimes we communicate that with the DJ. We tell them, hey, like this time, we have some family shots to do, or they want to do a night shot. When would be the best time? And they'll like, yeah, after dinner, right? Sometimes just a simple communication. He was probably trying to, you know, start the next dance set or whatever, and you know, kind of put pressure on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next vendor, our favorite, videographers. This is
True.
what couples should look for, I feel like,
Yeah.
or ask about when hiring a videographer.
That's very easy. They should find someone that matches the style,
the photo
and,
style.
yeah, like to work cohesively.
Most photographers will have a preferred vendor list.
Yeah.
So ask your photographer for that preferred vendor list and find someone.
But we also tell them, like, you know, you don't have to hire somebody from our list. We recommend that you do. Jen will say, like, sometimes if you're on the fence, like, send us who they are. We probably know them. You know, we probably worked with them before, and they're just as good. And couples do that. They'll send us, hey, have you ever heard of this? And we'll check out their site. They have good work.
What if they end up picking someone that you know that the work is terrible? It's a shitty portfolio.
I'm not gonna tell them nothing. I'm just gonna have to just
Figure
try
it
to
out.
try to deal with it.
Like go by the list of your photographer and find someone that shoots similar style, and then price range. I think too. Find someone that's in the similar price range at least with the photographer. Don't hire like $5,000 photographer and like $500 video.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you definitely invest in it.
Yeah,
don't cut
and
corners.
don't wait till last minute and like
Yeah.
hire someone like, yeah, oh, he's available. Let's hire for like 5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah.
Headache. That's like worse than not having anyone, I think.
So when you're looking for someone with video, just make sure they shoot in a similar style. And what we mean by style is like, are they shooting with natural light mostly? Are they shooting with artificial lights? Are they posy? Are they a little bit more
Super
candid?
posy, like,
Because the thing is, that has to align with whomever you chose for photography. Because like I would say that 9 times out of 10, photo gets hired before video. So if you already have a photographer on board, right, you want to make sure that video person is shooting the same style. And the thing is, most of the video people that you will encounter will say, hey, we're going to defer to the photo person. We're going to just follow their lead. That's not always the case. They might tell you that to get the sale, but they don't necessarily do that.
I worked with someone that posed more than any other photographer that I ever met.
yeah.
And for video. And I'm just like, you can't do this.
Why?
Like, this is crazy,
Yeah,
you know? And I ended up shutting him out. I just, you know,
Box them out.
yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, what we tell clients is, if you're gonna invest in video and you find a studio or whoever, and every highlight looks the same, that's gonna be a lot of directing because they're following a script. They know what they need. They're like the studio's requiring them to get XY shots, and they're gonna direct as much as they can to get those shots. So when that happens, like we tell them, if you see highlights that look the same, where you could just plug in somebody's face and it looks the same, then they're doing a lot of directing.
A lot of posing.
We advise that you go with someone that looks more organic.
Well, that fits your style of
Yeah.
shooting. You know what I mean? But you know, there are photographers that are posy. If that's the case, then you find a video person who's posy. You know what I mean? But my number one recommendation is just like what Kara said: don't cheap out on video, especially if you're going to spend this much money on photos. Don't cheap out on video. As far as folks who offer both photo and video, right? My thoughts on this. I don't know if I want to share this or not. I might get canceled, right? But
It's very rare that they do both well.
All right, you said it before I did.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Every one that I know, they've either started
off one. They start off with one of those,
and then grew the other branch. But that one is what they specialize in. They're offering the other service because it's just easier. It's an easier sell, right? So my advice is not to. I mean, hey, people still do it anyway, but just know that they're not specializing in both.
I think, and most of those, and this segues to one of the points that you wanted to talk about today, which was the positives of hiring a smaller company as opposed to a larger studio. I think it's more of the larger studios that offer both.
Yep.
And it's just random people that they're hiring to do the photo and the video. So nothing looks
Freelancers.
consistent. Nothing is of really good quality. They're basically just filling a volume. If it's a smaller company, maybe like a husband and wife team who do photo and video, you're better off chance that they're going to have a high quality work. But those are pretty much rare.
Right.
Or partners. It doesn't have to be husband and wife. It could be whatever. Best friends that run a studio or whatever the partners are. But it's a smaller company. You know they're specializing in that one thing. For larger studios that do photo and video or just photo or just video, you're getting
One of the
Anybody.
random person.
yeah, you could be getting a random person.
And I'm going to be honest, one of the drawbacks of that is if I like working with you as a videographer, I'm not going to refer you until after they book me. I'm not going to refer anyone that offers photo that's a videographer until they book me.
Yep.
You know, if they offer just video, I'll send my list before they book me because I know that they won't, you know, a lot of times when they reach out to other vendors, they won't even mention your name. So it's very easy for them to start selling
Right.
the same service that you're offering.
This happened to us. There was a video company. They used to do just video, right? And we used to send referrals back and forth like crazy. All the time. We made so much money between the both of us, right?
See them. Yep.
And then eventually they started offering photos. I was like, okay, whatever. We still enjoy working with your team. We'll continue to refer business over to you, right? And then come to find out, I think it was a matter of like one season, maybe even half a season, like 3 to 5 inquiries they were booking with us, and then ended up booking both with them, photo and video. So I was like, that's not going to happen again. And at first I thought they were maybe poaching our photo clients, but I don't think that was the case. I think what happened was the clients didn't say anything.
They don't mention, it happens
Yeah.
a lot. Like, you know, as friends, we send each other referrals all the time. I guarantee
Yeah,
you,
no
all
one
the
says
ones that
that.
we're sending each other don't even mention.
Yeah, the one I got from you
Some
today,
do.
they didn't name drop you.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
exactly. And then the same thing with Moses. We'll be hanging out with him. He goes, "Oh, I have a consult with X at this venue," and I'm go, "Oh, what's her name? Oh, we sent you that." You know, and they don't mention, so it's very easy to get that like mixed up. So that's one thing. As you know, I know people are gonna might take it the wrong way, but it's just
It's nothing personal.
I'm
It's just
protecting-
business.
Yeah, I'm protecting my future
course.
potential clients.
Yep.
So that's one thing as well, that if you offer both, you're more than likely not going to get as many
Referrals.
photographer referrals like at first.
Yeah. So I don't refer these guys anymore, but you know, whatever. It's just business, nothing personal. I still enjoy working with your team. It's just not a good fit for how I want to run my business. That's all.
You're losing potential
Yeah,
clients.
but as far as tips for couples who are looking for video, look at their portfolio, look at the reviews. In fact, all the vendors that we talked about today, look at their reviews.
Oh, yeah.
All right, not just WeddingWire or
Facebook
TheKnot.
groups.
Look at Facebook groups. Go to Google. Like look up the reviews. That's where you're gonna get a lot of truth. Okay.
Read the bad reviews.
Read the bad
sort
reviews.
by like lowest rating.
Don't look at the
There's a
good
venue
reviews.
that shall not be
Look at the
named
good
that
reviews.
has
Yeah.
flooded their reviews with positive ones, but if you sort it, you'll see all the
Yeah, there's
negative
there's a
things.
certain venue in our orbit who has a lot of bad reviews. If
Yep, you
if
gotta
it's just
read
one or two, right? That's one
Right,
thing. You might
that's
have had just
Might be
a very upset client
Yeah.
who's very particular. But if it becomes a pattern, right? If you see like 5 or 10 or 20, whatever, now that's a pattern.
Yeah.
So and then not only that, once you see a bad review, that's not the end of the world. You know, you want to see how the venue responded, because the venue in question, you got these bad reviews, and now the venue's like going after the couple, like just like insulting them, and doing all these things, like
things.
so that you can tell a lot about how that business treats its customers just by looking at the reviews. Right. So this is for videographers, like actually any vendors that you guys are bringing on board that day. Check the reviews.
Do research.
Yeah. If you were to ask for what do you call it, references and stuff, don't even bother, because these vendors are not going to send you a reference of someone who's going to say,
upset.
who's going to tell you bad things about them. All right. It's all going to be glowing reviews. So don't even bother asking for
My
references.
mom.
Yeah. The best thing you can do is just look up these review sites and stuff. That's where you're going to get your best information. Okay. Cool. But yeah, videographers, try to go off the preferred vendor list off of your photographer. Also, the other thing is preferred vendor lists are not always immune to kickbacks and commissions and stuff. So sometimes, even if you do get a referral from your photographer, sometimes it's not the best choice, because there might be money changing hands behind the scenes. So maybe there's another thing you can ask, like, hey, listen, I thank you so much for this list. Just out of curiosity, is there a commission or a kickback arrangement? you know?
Or if they just insist on one person. If they give you like a list, we send like a list of like 7, 8 people. I'm not getting paid by none of them, but at least you have like,
just
if they
people
give
that
you
are
options, or
pleasant
if
to
they're
work
like
with.
pushing one person really hard, then there might be like a commission thing going on.
They're like, here's a list of all the people we love. They're awesome.
But this guy,
Yeah.
But same thing when you guys get your preferred vendor list. Couples, please pay attention to this, right? When you guys are getting a preferred vendor list from your venue or planner, anyone at all, doesn't matter who, you should always ask to see if there is a commission or a kickback or some kind of payment schedule. Because the thing is, if that's the case, they are sending you names not because they believe that they produce the best work, but because there's something in it for them financially.
Correct.
Okay? So I might be burning some bridges, like giving you guys a little peek behind the curtains, what happens behind the scenes.
We tell
but
clients all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
yeah,
And mostly because I think a lot of them are catching on. Like they'll see preferred vendors on, and they're like,
the work's not that good.
they're like, oh,
though.
this person's like been shooting forever, and like
It
it
looks the same.
doesn't fit their style or what they're looking for,
Yeah,
and
I was
like very
like-
looks very old.
They're paying to be on there. You know?
So they're like, they always wind up straying off of the list usually.
We pay to be on 2 lists. Number one, they don't charge us very much, but they had been sending us referrals for years before they implemented this.
I'm also not against someone paying for the list if the style and work kind of like it's modern and cohesive to what the venue style is. But when you have these like lists that you could tell they've been on that list for 20 years,
never updated anything.
that is the problem,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what we hear from a lot of couples when we ask them like, you know, what they're looking for, and that's a common thing that they're mentioning. Yeah, we looked at the vendors list, and it's just not what we're looking for. And that's when we tell them like, you know, they're paying to be on there, and that's why they're there. And I don't get me wrong, you can find some awesome vendors on the list, you know, if you do your research. But yeah, you find a lot of like, you know, people that have been there for decades.
Yeah, I feel like you get more select with like you hire a florist or a DJ. They're all pretty good and consistent. It's more, I think art is more subjective when you're looking for a photographer, videographer. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if any vendor, any venue are listening to our podcast, update those lists. Update those lists, and you'll have more happy.
Well, I have it on good
couples.
authority. I have it on good authority because I have spoken with other catering managers before, right? And they wanted to add us on the list, but they wanted us to pay. I was like, well, I'm not paying to be on that
Yeah,
list
that happened to us.
because
too.
I can come on. I can still come back to your property just with my SEO and social media and all that kind of stuff.
Right, when you're
You know what I
booking
mean?
enough, you're just like, all right, do I want to be here?
Yeah, I gotta
twice
pay.
the
I gotta
amount of
pay you
time?
like several $1,000s a year just to be on your list, and I'm
Yeah.
coming here already. Like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense for me, right?
yeah,
So what they were sharing with me was like, you know, the people who are paying to be on these lists, these are these big national chains and stuff who can afford to pay that. You know, $2,000-$3,000.
that's also it's a larger studios who have a
larger
higher
studios that have
volume.
like
yeah.
10, 15 associate.
Yeah, and then
photo,
and they can
video.
afford to pay that. And the thing is, these catering managers would share with me like, yeah, we know that the quality of these folks are not that great, but they're paying to be on these lists.
Right.
We want quality on this list, but the people who are quality, they don't want to pay to be on
Like
this list.
someone that we talked to that does like marketing for a venue, and what that person was telling us was like, you got to understand like these people that own these studios, they're business oriented, like minded folks. They don't care about the quality. They don't like, to them is how many weddings can we book, and that's how they make money. It's volume. So you know, he was like, that's just, it's always gonna be like that, and that's the way it is. Like, so what he was saying is like, you know, it's for what the aesthetic that current venue wants to show, they can't even use the content that they're sending them. You know, and so that's why they're, you know, some venues start to update their list because they're getting free content out of it. You know, a lot of like, if you have the right vendors on the list, they'll send you all their galleries, and you just go through it and you could just choose whatever you want. Like, and if you don't want to show it, you don't have to. But like now, since they're on that list, some of those venues are forced to only show those vendors' work on their social media platforms,
Which is doesn't really
and it's just like
represent
some
it
of the
well.
stuff is terrible, terrible.
So, moral of the story is get the list from your photographer. When you guys are looking at your videographers, get the list from your photographers, right? But even then, you should vet that list regardless, all right?
Yes.
Look up the reviews, look up everything, do your research.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so share your tea, Ben.
All right, so this past weekend, oh, this is juicy.
He's so excited.
I'm so excited to share this with you guys. All right, so this was an 11-hour day, and during a Viennese hour, the dance floor is empty. A dance floor cannot compete with dessert,
Yeah.
right? So the whole dance floor clears out. So I grab myself a coffee. There's nothing for me to photograph. People are stuffing their faces with dessert, right? So
Yeah.
I get myself a cup of coffee, and I settle down on the table. And then I noticed that this table was just bouncing around, right? I was like, oh my God,
You're
earthquake.
sitting on the table?
Yeah, I'm sitting at the table, right?
Oh, I thought you just saw the table
Yeah,
from
I
like
thought you
across the
saw
room.
it.
No. I sat down and I was like, my coffee's moving, right? And then the centerpieces are wobbling and the plates are like, and the silverware on the table is just like making noises. I was like, holy shit, right? This is the only table that's moving, right? And then, a couple of the other younger kids, like 10, 12-year-old girls, they're curious too because like the table's shaking violently, right? So I was like, okay. And by the way, this was like the far, far corner of the room where all my gear was. My second shooter was also eating some dessert and everything. I was like, put your dessert down. I need you to pick up your camera because I think there are kids playing underneath this table, right?
Yeah.
So I had one of the 10-year-old girls.
Ain't all right.
So I told the 10-year-old
He was
girls.
throwing darts.
So I told one of the 10-year-old girls, I was like, all right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna pick up that end of the tablecloth. I'm gonna pick up my end, and then we're gonna pick it up really fast, right? And then my photographer is gonna snap it, right? So 1, 2.
You got a 10-year-old involved with
I was like 1, 2, 3, and then we put it up, right? And then my photographer snaps it, and when I saw what was going on underneath the table, I was like, holy shit! And then I threw it back down, right? So what was happening was there were 2 young adults underneath the table. I don't think they were doing the nasty. I think they were getting there. I think he was getting at third base. I think, right?
Well, it looks from the photo. It looks like her undergarment.
Oh, wait!
is-
Did I send you guys the
Sliding
unedited
off.
version?
Unedited version. Yeah, you send
Yeah.
it to everyone.
No. I only
No.
sent the unedited version to select group of people. And you guys?
Yeah, we saw the photo.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys saw the photo with the face, right?
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, it looks like her
Underwear's down?
underwear is like sliding down.
Really?
Well, I couldn't tell because the dress and her underwear is very close in color, so I wasn't sure.
I don't know. It looks like it was.
It looks like her underwear was down,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't look that close. Zooming in.
I was like, is that her underwear?
So I was like, well, I don't think they were teenagers. They were probably somewhere around anywhere between 19 to 22. The reason why I think that is because I think any reasonable 23-year-old, 24-year-old, they probably have a hotel or something like that, because younger than that.
Alcohol gets involved.
Yeah, they got
out.
alcohol. They've been drinking. They certainly don't look 17 or 16. These are much older. I mean, it's hard to say.
At least 21.
You take a look at that picture again, Jen.
So the table was like moving.
Yeah, it was like it was just like an earthquake, right? I was like, holy shit, what the hell's going on in there?
It's definitely her panties.
Yeah.
Sliding down.
Roll out the nose.
Because you see her thigh right
Different
there.
shades.
And
yeah.
then is her dress down too?
Her dress is up there.
Yeah.
She has a short dress. She had a short dress.
Yeah, her dress is like up here, and then
So it's like a strapless dress.
Did
But
she
why
look-
does she have her phone on? That's the thing.
she probably just had it in her hand.
It's on though.
I don't
It's the back of her phone.
I don't know.
They were live on their OnlyFans.
Yeah. So anyway, we snapped the photo because I thought it was gonna be kids. I accidentally caught, pictures of young adults getting it on under the table, right? So now I'm conflicted because
Do you
What
deliver
happened?
that?
No,
Yeah.
I want to know what happened afterwards. They just stayed
all
there?
right. So what happened was
Yeah, what did they
yeah.
react?
the guy just like jetted out.
Really?
He ran away, right?
Of course he did.
Nah.
He scurried away.
Girl, he is not for you, okay? He is not. If you listen to this,
He scurried away.
Not for you.
He scurried away, right?
Left you there.
Yeah, he left her there. He left her there. He scurried away. And then, I told the 10, 12-year-olds, I was like, hey, listen, girls, you guys go get some cookies or whatever. Go, get away from here, right?
You
And
saw nothing.
You saw nothing? Get away, right?
Go
And,
get some cookies.
and then I think about 10, 15 minutes later, I see the girl just trying to walk casually away from everything, like fixing her hair, fixing her dress, like trying to like get away from the scene of the crime, right? But of course, I'll tell the catering staff, I was like, what do I do with this, right? Like, I don't know. And he was like, are you talking about this couple who's like, they're actually out in the fountain right now, in the front, right? They're like, they've continued part 2 somewhere else, basically.
Oh, the ones that were under the table?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they went somewhere else. And they were like, yeah,
Oh,
this,
then you knew?
yeah, venue. It's like, oh, this happens all the time. We see underwear out on the golf course all the time. Like this kind of thing happens all the time. But it's kind of weird that they chose to go underneath the table. That's a little raunchy, even for for what they do. But yeah. So anyway, my dilemma is I have these pictures now. It's nothing so scandalous that, this should go on someone's OnlyFans or anything like that. However, do I deliver to the client or I pretend it never happened?
I would pretend it never happened.
I would probably blur out whatever.
The underwear?
Yeah. Blur it out and then send it.
I don't know. I think it's a tough situation because
I don't know if they're
not
minor.
100% clear on their age.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't deliver something.
So do you consult with the clients? Hey, listen, as I was going through these images,
Just don't deliver.
I would just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Just pretend it
don't
didn't
deliver
happen?
Yeah.
Why is there?
I have this story to share now.
It's not a moment.
Yeah, it's
they're
a story
gonna-
for you to share. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's not
Yeah,
a moment they're gonna
they're
care.
put in
Yeah,
the album, or it's not.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with this image?
You're
You know?
better off.
Right.
You're better off because what if they're cousins or something like that? Like
Right,
you don't want to know
cousins
anything.
or, like-
I'd rather not know.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
relationship, right?
That's so dicey. Trying to pick up people at a wedding, that's really dicey. You might be related to the person you're trying to pick up. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I would just
Right,
say
yeah.
like,
Just don't deliver. Just
yeah.
You can get a Fearless Award for this.
yeah.
It's a good.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
You can submit it somewhere.
With like the cops like blurred like little thing in their faces.
However, I don't know what the clients would do with this photo.
Don't
For
give it to the
blackmail,
clients. Yeah.
They'll
They'll
be a
probably show it
conversation
to the
piece.
parents,
I would just feel like that's
Yeah,
a situation to get
don't
involved in.
get it,
And if
yeah.
they are, let's say they're not the 21, 22 that you might think they are, and then they
Or-
see it.
Or what if the guy is like of age and she's
She's not.
Nah.
or even more, what if they're in another relationship? Like, there's so
A
much.
lot of things could go
There's
wrong.
so much.
Well, that's why I
Or
would've-
strict,
and that's-
really strict parents. Like
Yeah.
That's why I thought maybe talk to the couple first.
This
Hey, who
could
is this
lead
person and
into
who's this
many
person?
problems.
And how old are they?
Just don't
Yeah.
deliver it.
But I feel it's still not momentous enough for their day for that to be
it's
like
not
they
part
missed
of
it.
their- yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty
It's a good story for you.
It was
Yeah.
a pretty
Yes.
epic capture,
Yes.
y'all.
Yeah. It's a good
Yeah.
story for you.
And it was not your capture, so you can't even submit it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Period. You were the tablecloth guy.
I'm the table. I'm in the picture holding up the tablecloth. You can
see your
actually see me.
leg, yeah.
You can see my leg in my hand and a 12-year-old, another 12-year-old off to the side.
Hey kids, you want to see something? Go get some cookies.
He got his cookies already. Now you go get yours.
He definitely had his hand in the cookie jar.
So couples, let us know if this is a photo you would want to see. Our consensus is might keep it to ourselves, but love to know what you would think.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite wedding stories. So, special treat for our listeners. We went a little bit over on time today. So we are going to come back with part 2 of these tips and stuff for our listeners, for our couples, and for other vendors and stuff like that. So we're going to cut it off here, and then we'll see you guys at the next episode. So on that note, are you guys focused AF?
Yes.
I'm very focused there. Yeah.
Yes.
Karis is falling asleep,
Yeah.
but
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
We're not going to do our
I
usual.
had an early morning engagement session.
She was 6:30, and Princess, stop changing the soundtrack. We got to sign off.
And I'm hungry.
So anyway, before
Unplug her mic. No.
anyway, because you're probably going to hear part 2 afterwards, I want to do some quick plugs before we sign off. So if you guys would like to check out some of our bloopers, behind the scenes, highlights, and all that good stuff, you can find all that stuff on our Instagram account at focus.af. You guys can also check us out online at focus-af.com. And also, you guys can also download all of our episodes on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you guys download your podcasts. And if you would like to...
Bye.
No. Quiet. And if you'd like to meet any of us in person, actually all of us in person, we would love to see you guys at the Focus AF Summit next January 11th at the Bellworks in Homedale. But on that note, are you guys focused AF?
we are.
Yes.
All right, cool. See you guys in the next episode.
See you later.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you focused AF?
I am focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.